heat with Angelo Taylor in lane 4. And in lane 6 is Reggie Wyatt, 7th at this year's U.S. Championships, or last year's U.S. Championships, I should say. The All-American from USC, who was 3rd at the NCAAs.
And it's been a good week for USC alum. Remember, Brashawn Nellam making the 400-meter team, so Reggie Wyatt, 3rd at the NCs, trying to get... It's been a good week for collegians, too, making these Olympic teams. So another collegian trying to climb aboard that flight to London.
The top 3 finishers, plus the next 4 fastest overall, will advance to the semifinal round to be held on Friday.
And Taylor has raced very sparingly, which is smart when you get up there in age. 33, it's kind of old for a 400-meter hurdler. But both have been wins. The former Georgia Tech All-American.
And there's the gun as they approach the first hurdle. First of 10, and Angelo Taylor safely over as they go down the back stretch.
And look at the nice move on the outside to the left of your picture. There's Reggie Wyatt in the USC colors, 3rd from the outside. But now here comes Angelo Taylor, and even at his age, he still has very good foot speed, and he leads now at hurdle 7.
So Angelo Taylor in front as they approach the home straightaway. Reggie Wyatt is hanging in there in 2nd place. Home straightaway, and Angelo Taylor's all by himself. Angelo Taylor hitting the first round with a vengeance here and now starting to shut it down. Angelo Taylor will just jog to the finish line. Michael Stigler gets 2nd and close for 3rd with Wyatt trying to lead to get in there.
It was not a particularly good race for the collegiate Wyatt, but Angelo Taylor did a great job of controlling this race early, so look at how casually he's able to hop over hurdle 10, and he looks around as if to say, hey, I thought you young guys are going to be a little closer today. But no contest for Angelo Taylor as he comfortably wins this opening round heat in 49.53.
So here are the official results with Angelo Taylor winning it. Michael Stigler 2nd, and Alex Wilwright got the automatic 3rd qualifying spot. As we go down to Lewis Johnson.
Tom, thank you very much.
Best since 2003. He's now 29 years old. He is in lane 3. And in lane 7, Keonta Hayes, who is just 20 years old. All-American from Texas, San Antonio.
And he'll be trying to have the sort of trials that Queen Harrison had 4 years ago when she was the youngest member of that U.S. Olympic team that went to Beijing. But this young man has credentials at both 110 and 400 and was 4th this year at the NCAA's. 49.38 at those NCAA championships. He's going to have to set personal best, I believe, to knock off some of the veterans in this event.
As was the case in the earlier heat, the top 3 finishers automatically advance, plus the next 4 fastest to the semifinals.
And Tom, I had a conversation with Derek Atkins, who was the U.S. Gold medalist in the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. He said, it is absolutely a marvel that Brashawn Jackson, who's listed at 5'8", maybe he's 5'7 and a half, he said what he is able to do and where he ranks all time is just amazing in this event, because it really is an event that favors the taller athletes. If you think about the guy who has the world record, Kevin Young, it really is a marvel that Brashawn Jackson has been able to have the career that he has had.
Toward the first hurdle, Brashawn Jackson trying to move along, and the 3-time U.S. champion hoping to add another one here in Eugene. This is the opening heat, and he's off to a good start.
And Tom, he takes 15 steps between each of these hurdles all the way around. It means that he has to back off and save something in the beginning. But watch as he's going to start to make his move now. He's not in the lead now, but watch Brashawn Jackson just about in the middle of your picture. Look at how he starts to pick up these athletes on the outside. And wow, that's a huge fall there.
Austin Holloman. The rain starting to come down with more intensity now as Brashawn Jackson leads the way to the final hurdle. There is the final hurdle. Hayes is 2nd. Bennett is 3rd. Brashawn eased up, jogs across the finish line. Bennett officially gets 2nd. And it appeared that Hayes would hold third.
And just like Angelo Taylor, this was pretty much, there's Bershon, and just like Angelo Taylor, he made a decisive move past a lot of hurdlers with a lot less experience. You see there the fall by Holloman. His trials are done, unfortunately. But look at how much of a lead Bershon Batman Jackson comes off with. He looks over his shoulder, calmly hops over 10. And this is a great job of conserving energy, because this is a very, very difficult team to make. And it's the conserving of energy in the early rounds that gives you that edge, Tom, in the later rounds when you really have to turn it on to secure your space on this Olympic team. Great job by Bershon Batman Jackson.
Here are the official results then. Bershon 50.59, Bennett and Hayes automatically qualify. So two of the marquee players, Angelo Taylor and Bershon Jackson, easy winners in their heat. In lane 4, Justin Gaiman. And in lane 7, Michael Tinsley, former NCAA champion at Jackson State, as the order comes for them to stand up out of the blocks. Tinsley, another one of those that has had hard luck, just missed making the last 2 world championship teams, finishing 4th in 2009 and in 2011.
And it bears mentioning, Tom, that the U.S. has such depth in this event that Tinsley or Gaiman would have made any other country's team in this event. But when you're American 400-meter hurdler, that is the toughest team to make.
And there's the gun. Justin Gaiman's in lane 4, Tinsley out in lane 7. And they're over the first hurdle.
And there are only 2 Americans in 2012 that have run faster than Justin Gaiman. And he gives you an example of why, as he takes the early lead. Hard to miss him in that fluorescent green in the center of your picture. Tinsley on the outside in the orange.
And also running well, Adam Durham. He's in the extreme outside lane in this heat.
And we've seen dominant runs by both Bershon Jackson and Angelo Taylor. Let's see what these young men are able to produce over the last 100.
So Gaiman is the leader with Tinsley and Durham. And they have another hurdle remaining, and Tinsley is coming up to challenge for the lead. There's the final hurdle. Gaiman and Tinsley coming to the line together. Gaiman and Tinsley together with David Aristil, the All-American from the University of South Florida.
So just about the same time, Tom, right in the mid-49s for all of these quarterfinal winners, heat winners. The difference is that Tinsley and Gaiman accompanied each other across the line with just 100 separating them. Tinsley getting the win in 49.55, but separating from the rest of this Heat 3 field in the men's 400.
So Tinsley and Gaiman right together, and Aristil did get the 3rd automatic qualifying spot in this 400-meter hurdle. And in lane 6, Joshua Anderson, who just beat Bershon Jackson and Angelo Taylor in a close finish to win his first U.S. championship here in Eugene last year, the former football player at Washington State.
If you remember, Tom, that was probably the best race of the World Championship trials a year ago. But Joshua is another one who has not run a whole lot this year. He's the 4th fastest American, and his personal best 47.93, but he is about a second off of that, his only race back at Mount Sac in April.
Lane 4, Johnny Dutch, who was the NCAA champion for the University of South Carolina back in 2010.
He's run 48.90 this year. You have to think, Tom, if you don't get right to 48 seconds flat or under, you probably cannot make this team. We talked a lot about the depth and talent of U.S. 400-meter hurdling.
Top 3 finishers automatically move ahead to Friday's semifinal round. First hurdle.
And Johnny Dutch in the middle of your picture has gone on very, very well. But now Karan Clement starts to unfurl that frame. He's second from the outside. And he and Dutch look very good. Joshua Anderson trying to keep pace now with 200 meters gone.
Clement's in the turn for home. And it's Karan Clement with the Johnny Dutch. Joshua Anderson trying to pick it up as they turn for home.
Ruben McCoy keeping close to them as well. And now Joshua Anderson starts to fall back, Tom.
So Clement is in front. Dutch is in second, and McCoy is third. Clement wins it. Dutch is there, and Joshua Anderson in the final strides, I believe, got the last qualifying spot.
Well, this actually ended up being one of the faster qualifying rounds. And Karan Clement did get the win, but it seemed to me, Tom, like he didn't have the sort of relaxation that we saw in some of the prior qualifying rounds. Here's the home stretch, and Karan Clement is on the outside, going over hurdle 10 with Johnny Dutch on the inside as Joshua Anderson came up to secure the third spot. So Karan Clement is through, but we'll see how fit he is as we go through and they qualify onto the semifinals.
Clement won at 49.37 with Dutch second and Anderson third. So you see the key qualifiers then on to Friday's semifinals in the men's 400-meter hurdles with Angelo Taylor, who won her second straight NCAA title at 200 meters earlier this month.
It was a historic season for the young Duncan, including the low-altitude collegiate record. Few athletes have ever been as dominant as she was this year, Tom, at 200 meters collegiately.
She's just 20 years old. And also in this heat is LaShonte Moore, a 2004 Olympian and a former NCAA champion at Arkansas.
And number 10 this year among Americans, so she has some work to do with these trials.
Lane assignments. Moore's in lane 4, and Duncan is in lane 6.
Now, I can tell you, Kimberlyn Duncan, I've been high on her for a while. I picked her to make the team last year. She just missed. If you are a track historian, she looks a lot like Wilma Rudolph in terms of her physique. Also reminds me of my former training partner, Marie-José Farek of France, who won the double in Atlanta 2 and 4.
And there's the gun, the top 3 finishers, plus the next 3 fastest overall advance to Friday's semifinals. And Kimberlyn Duncan running well here in her opening heat at the Olympic trials. Kimberlyn Duncan is there, Octavius Freeman, LaShonte Moore. As they come to the line, it will be a victory for Kimberlyn Duncan. Freeman in second place and Moore in third. So those are the top 3 finishers and move ahead to Friday's semifinals.
And I can tell you, with the way that this women's 200 meters is shaping up, we've talked about the fact that the 5 fastest times in the world, Tom, are held by Americans, including the world leader, Sonia Richards-Ross. The one thing that I need to see from Duncan, if she is going to climb aboard this flight to London, she's got to be a little bit more aggressive on the turn. But my guess is that her coach told her, hey, with these conditions, just come out here, take it easy. And she did that very effortless all the way through 200 meters in 22:69 for Duncan.
So Duncan does win it. Octavius Freeman, who was 5th behind Duncan at the NCAA championships, competing for Central Florida, was 2nd, and LaShonte Moore got 3rd.